Alright, it's back to Symphony X time, and after the 2 reactions that I've done to Symphony X so far, I've had some people ask me to go and do some newer Symphony X stuff. So this isn't like the newest, I think this is the second to last album that they've done, and we're going to do Iconoclast is the name of the song. I'm excited to hear what new Symphony X sounds like. They're a pretty old band, just like Dream Theater is. And, you know, Dream Theater is pretty much Dream Theater throughout their whole career, but they've got some different kind of things that they focus on, whether it's a heavy metal album specifically like Train of Thought, or maybe it's a more melodic album. So I'm interested to hear how Symphony X has changed through the times, because the 2 songs I've listened to so far are definitely more in the 90s era kind of sound and kind of composition. But I want to say something before we get into this reaction. And that is that as a Dream Theater fan, I don't usually suggest a lot of songs to people who are trying to react to Dream Theater. Although I do every once in a while, I'll throw something in there. But for the most part, I just kind of sit back and watch whatever reaction comes out for Dream Theater. And I've noticed something that's pretty interesting that relates to me doing Symphony X and these other bands like Opeth and stuff like that. Is fans are a funny thing, right? Because fans have different likes and dislikes of each band and what they think is the best and is not the best. And for me, as a Dream Theater fan, and Dream Theater fans don't get angry at this, okay? Let me explain. But I think that Octavarium is one of the most overrated Dream Theater songs. Completely overrated. It's a good song, okay? I think it's a good song. I like it. I listen to it, and when I listen to it, I like it. But it's definitely not one of their top songs. But it seems like every time I see a Dream Theater reaction, in the comment section there's all these Dream Theater fans that just keep picking, please do Octavarium, Octavarium's awesome. And I just don't understand why they keep telling people to listen to Octavarium. Not because it's not a good song, but even if we agree of whether it's an overrated song or not an overrated song, the fact is still this, even if we disagree. It is definitely, factually not a good song for a person to listen to Dream Theater for the first time. Number one, it's really long, which I'm not saying you have to pick short songs to get people interested in Dream Theater, but somewhere in the middle, not like one of their longest songs they've ever written. And it's like a very, very concept-driven song. Has a lot of different pieces that, unless you studied it or know Dream Theater or have listened to it several times, you're not gonna get it. And so I feel like that's the same way with the Odyssey. Is I liked it, I thought it was good, but I didn't love it, and there was a lot of things I didn't understand about it, and it was a concept kind of idea based on the book The Odyssey, as a commenter said. So I don't think it's a good thing to suggest to people who are listening to someone for the first time a epic concept album or song on a first listen. These are songs that people have to listen to several times to get the concepts, to get the understanding. It's not a good thing. When you're doing a first reaction to a song, it's better to get something that's more easily digestible. Not completely easy. There's a famous quote I love that says, "Every man should reach just beyond his grasp." And I think that's perfect. It's a perfect solution to all of this, because it's you don't want something that's way too difficult that's impossible to understand. But you also don't want something that's so easy it's like breathing. Oh, my goal is to breathe today. Well, duh, everyone's easy. But you want to do something that's a little bit challenging. If you just push a little bit harder, you can maybe get it. It's a little bit out of your reach. Great. So I think this is what's interesting about this, is some people are saying, oh, you didn't understand the Odyssey. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't, but it's a first listen. In the first listen, I'm just trying to keep up with everything, which is why I don't listen to lyrics at the beginning or what they're saying or the meaning of the song. I just listen to instruments, because if I try to listen to everything at once, there's going to be so many things I miss. So you got to be picking and choosing when it comes to bands like this. So with that said, I'm interested to hear this, if this is more kind of in the middle. It's not like a epic, concept album, or it's not like this radio friendly, hey, we're just trying to appease people to come listen to us. Something in between. So let's see if this Iconoclast is something in between, and I'm just going to give you my honest reaction, because that's what I always do. So let's go. It sounds like an Atari game. What was that Atari game? Like where you shoot the things that coming down? Ooh. Fuck yes. Nice. A great switch there. Oh, see, that was a beautiful transition. Beautiful transition. This definitely makes me want to go into like watch 300 and then go into battle. I like the sound too. The sound has definitely gotten more updated, just like Dream Theater did. Ooh, I like that. It's like a Mike Portnoy-ish thing. Dude, this sounds like Dream Theater. I like it. That's probably why. Damn. This sounds like Petrucci's Necromancer is how you say it. Yeah, it totally does. This is like his solo guitar for like a game that he was asked to do. I love it. I'm waiting for Russell to come in. There we go. Really like his voice. Shouting the word! Chorus. Yeah, this is totally like, let's go to battle. I like that halftime. Good change. If I was at the concert, I'd be like, as I watch Romeo, just like, nice.
We'll ride into the flames, striking with spears of hate at the heart where evil reigns, holding the line from the charge of armored steeds. Gather around this deadly ground. Come watch the war god bleed. The chaos unseen rips the midnight sky. Infernal machines arise, flashing steel collide.
Kick it. I knew, see? Great composition. Go back to the chorus, home base, and get that like. This sort of reminds me of Five Finger Death Punch. Not the sound, but like the epicness of like going into battle and stand and fight. Yeah. Got those quads on the drums going crazy. I love it. Oh, that's kind of a weird switch. I like the riffs, man. Alright, we're gonna have a Romeo. Let's try to find some alliteration. A Romeo riff. Reconnaissance? That's fucking terrible. I want to hear Romeo go off. Drums sound great. There we go. Oh, nice legato. Fuck yes. Dude. Oh, keyboard. Dude, Dream Theater and these guys are fucking brothers. Come on. How can... Talk about that after. This is exactly what I like. Dude. This is so Dream Theater. These guys are just like fucking brothers. Come on. I'm sorry I keep saying that, but it is, and it's fucking awesome. How are these guys not fucking best friends? That run was badass. This is definitely the best song I've heard by these guys so far. Oh, this is kind of like a Rush feel. Ooh, I like that. Oh, I thought he was gonna do it again. Okay. This is like...
Victory or death!
Huh.
Only time will tell.
I would say that switch was okay. Like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. It was just a so-so switch. Transition, I mean, by switch.
As we watch the daylight die, we spit and curse this hallowed earth with our final battle cry. The chaos unseen rips the midnight sky. Infernal machines arise.
I will say, I heard the bass there, but like, the bass is pretty low in the mix, or at least to me. Or maybe he's just not doing anything but playing the roof. But I don't hear him like much. I'd like to hear him more. It's kind of like Dream Theater. A lot of times John Mayall gets hidden. Oh, there I hear him. Okay, there we go. Maybe I just wasn't listening to him as much. Yeah. So that is, we're gonna go. nice little fade out. The guitars. It's like a volume pedal. It could be a volume pedal. I like that ending. Amen. Yeah, this was probably my favorite song so far by Symphony X. I mean, I felt like it actually accomplished what I was talking about before I listened to the song. It wasn't this crazy epic thing that you couldn't understand. The lyrics even, I could, like, the few that I was listening to, it basically seems like this battle cry, like we're going to go into battle and we're going to rise up and we're going to fight. Pretty simple, like, lyrical content to understand. And then the music kind of like wasn't too simple, obviously. It was like flipping all over the place. It was great runs. I couldn't hear the bass at first, but I think it was because it wasn't good in the mix, and I made a comment that it wasn't good in the mix, but I think it was more that I wasn't paying attention to it again, because there's like so many other things I'm listening to. I'll tell you right up front, for me, and this is with any band I listen to, including Dream Theater, usually the first thing I hear is the guitar, of course, and then the drums. So those are the two things that I probably concentrate on the most. So the bass, unless it's really obvious, like it was in Spiral Architect, it's something I have to stop and like listen to, unless it makes itself really well known. Keyboard to me too is the same way. I feel like, again, keyboard and bass. Okay, this might get a little interesting for people to hear this, but I think out of all the instruments that are played, if you make a mistake on the keyboard or on the bass, I don't think it's that big of a deal, because I think you can get by because they're more of background, kind of like they add addition to what's going on in the forefront, that it's easier to make a mistake and get by with it because not as many people can hear it as easily, or it's not as focused, unless of course it's in the solo aspect of a keyboard solo or something. But I think if you're on guitar and you make a mistake on guitar, everybody hears it. Even just a simple brrrr, if you do that wrong and hit the wrong note, or you don't get the whole chord, people can hear it very easily. Drums, you fuck up, everyone hears it. And singing, of course, if you hit the wrong note, everyone hears it. So I think that's why, like, it's just natural for me to pay attention to guitar and drums and singing maybe a little bit at first. As far as that, and then like unless I stop and pay attention, which I started to do at the end, I could definitely hear the bass, and the bass was doing pretty sweet. So I do still wish it would be up a little bit more in the mix, but I would say this is definitely my favorite song by them so far. And I kind of, after the song ended, I kind of was thinking through as I was listening to the song, like, this and Dream Theater are seriously like so close. And I asked this in the last video, and I got a bunch of people that said, oh, I love Symphony X, but I really don't like Dream Theater. And it's like, I don't understand that. They're so, like, they're brothers. Like, all of this stuff is so very similar. So I can understand if you like one more than the other, because I like Dream Theater more than the other, more than Symphony X, and I'll explain why in a second so far. But I don't understand how you could go from loving Symphony X and then hating Dream Theater. Like, they're so similar. They're so similar. And I think this song was great. Now, this is interesting because I told you I don't listen to the lyrical content that much. But this one was more easier to grasp. And so it had a chorus. That chorus brought it back together, came to home base. Again, I think it measured up to all the things I was talking about for someone who's getting introduced to a band, that it should. Had such good runs and transitions and musicality and technicality and good composition, but it was still like coming back to a home base and had like a cohesive whole in a song where it wasn't like going all over the place and this epic kind of content that you don't know unless you listen to it many times. So I had that. But one thing I noticed at the end is I'm trying to think of like so far. Now again, this is under the caveat that I've only listened to 3 songs by Symphony X right now. So it's very unfair to them in that aspect, because I have a whole many catalogs of Dream Theater and years of listening to them versus 3 songs from Symphony X. One thing that I noticed though is that one difference between the two, even though they're very similar, that I can grasp already, and maybe this will change as I listen to Symphony X more. But out of the 3 songs that I've listened to of Symphony X, it seems like their lyrical their lyrical concepts, sorry, and their music is very kind of classical in nature, which I said it in the first time I listened to these guys. It's got more of that neoclassical feel, but not like Yngwie kind of neoclassical. It has a little bit of that stuff, but it's not that far. And I think that this goes into the lyrics as well, and the concepts. The Odyssey, very philosophical in nature, very heady. This song, Let's Fight, and it had like this kind of classical, like Achilles, like I said, I want to watch 300. This is Sparta. Like, it's got that kind of like Greek classical background for its lyrics and its concepts. It seems like so far a lot, whereas Dream Theater is more like lyrically like human. It's the best, practical. Like, they talk a lot about dying mother, dying father, mental illnesses and stuff like that, which is more my kind of cup of tea. Like, I like lyrics, you know, Greek classical philosophy is cool and stuff, but it's not very human to me. It's very philosophical. It's very classical. So like, that's one thing I love about Dream Theater is they write these ballads and they write these classics and they write philosophical things as well. So that's probably a difference that I can see. But other than that, a lot of the writing and the musicality is very connected to Dream Theater. So I don't know how you can go from I love Symphony X to I hate Dream Theater, or vice versa. To me, it's like I love Dream Theater and Symphony X is pretty good, but not maybe my favorite. I could understand that because that's where I'm at so far. Now, if there's music in the future with Symphony X where their lyrical context or their concepts are much more practical and not so heady and so philosophical in nature, then I might change my mind. But so far, after 3 songs, it seems pretty like they side on the classical neo kind of more end of things than they do on the practical kind of rock, I guess, regular rock things. I don't know. It's the best way I can think about it right now. So, well, you know, I'm very, very happy with this song. This is definitely my favorite of the 3 that I've listened to so far, and it was a great suggestion, and I'm going to listen to more. I can't wait to hear more Symphony X. I'm definitely down for these guys. This is, out of all the bands so far that I'm listening to, they're right up there with Opeth, who I'm going to listen to next, so stick around. And Devin, I'm liking Devin a lot too. So they're all kind of in that mix. So as always, like and subscribe over here, and look for more content of Symphony X and others coming soon. Peace out.